Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So today is Sunday. Sunday is fun day. So we are going to do a fun exercise. The fun exercise is that a few days back, I had made a YouTube community post where I had asked you that, hey, ask me some interesting questions. I will reply to those questions. So my team went in, they dug up some questions on a personal front, professional front, investment front. And on this video, I'm going to answer these questions in an impromptu manner. So I don't know what kind of questions they have dug up, and I'm genuinely going to answer these questions in an impromptu format. So let us get started, and I'm genuinely excited to know what type of questions you would want me to answer. So question number 1 is from Prashant. So he asks that, hey sir, when are you going to reveal ma'am's face? So I'm assuming he is asking about my wife. Why you always put her behind camera, what she is doing. So my wife is an economist. She works with the Indian government, and because of the fact that she's working with the Indian government, and since I speak a lot of stuff about government and other people on this channel, so it would be very ballistic combination if I introduce her to the channel. So I would do it someday, but right now there is no point in me introducing her on the channel, simply because of the fact that the nature of the work that she is undertaking, because it's government oriented, I don't want to get her into trouble. Now many of you would be enticed to put random name, random comment. Please think about me, and if my name unnecessarily get associated with someone, my wife is going to read all the comments and she's going to ask me, why is your name getting associated with this person, that person? So please don't put random comments guessing who my wife is. I'll get into trouble. So the second question comes from Technical Treat, and he says that please share your daily routine and how you manage time in a day, especially in holidays. Okay, so for me, my Mondays and Sundays and Saturdays and Fridays all look the same. Why? Because I work from home. I've been working from home since 2018, so it has roughly been 4.5 years now. I do not have a corporate job. Yes, I do manage multiple parallel income streams. I am an entrepreneur. I invest in different companies, etc., etc. So my daily routine really depends on the type of work that I'm doing that particular day. But just to give you a rough idea, I get up somewhere around like 9 a.m. I exercise a little bit. I do not have breakfast because I follow intermittent fasting just for keeping my energy levels high. So I eat twice a day, once lunch, once dinner. So I do not eat breakfast. And then between like around 10:30ish, 11, I work, and I try to wrap up my work by 7ish. And then after that, I go for a swim. I swim almost daily, so I enjoy swimming. That is one of my healthy rituals. Then I do some little bit of light reading, watching Netflix, whatnot. Then I sleep by 12 p.m. or 1 a.m. depending on what I'm watching on Netflix or other OTT platforms that particular day. So this is what my rough routine looks like. People think that I'm extremely productive or I focus too much on productivity. The answer is no. I have always tried to improve myself every single day. So that has been my game plan always, that try to get better at whatever you're doing. Do analyze how you're spending your day. Now, wherever I see myself wasting time, I try not to repeat those patterns. So that's probably my only focus. I am not like hyper productive that I have installed some 500 apps on my mobile that are keeping me productive and I plan everything in my calendar. Nothing. I do not over plan things. I take life as it comes. But yes, there are a few key things that I try to do every single day. Number 1, I do try to dedicate 5-6 hours working exclusively and working really well in those 5-6 hours. Second thing, I do try to exercise. These days, I'm trying to exercise twice a day. And third, I keep some window for entertainment. I do feel that it's very important to relax, get entertained. Yes, now many of you might be looking at my lifestyle, might be getting inspired that, hey, you know what, we have to live balanced life. But to be very honest, so when I was in my 20s, I did not take too much time off. I spent majority of my time working and improving myself, and now I live a slightly more balanced life. And going forward, my goal is to just work 2-3 hours a day, and that's it. And that's what I would be gunning towards. What is my game plan to do there? My game plan is to control cash flows. So basically, I want to build assets that give me some bit of cash flows. For example, it could be buying a commercial property. So I will get some money in form of rental income, for which I would not have to work much. I am starting an Airbnb business. The details will be out very soon. That becomes another cash flow. So my goal is to control cash flows and build more cash flows from this point of view and get to a point where earning money becomes fun. Now you might have a lot of counter questions for me that, hey, we also want to get started on our journey to financial independence. So what are top 2-3 tips that you might want to share with us? So first and foremost, I would really advise you to upskill yourself, because more skills that you have, the more income streams that you can generate. So I would genuinely advise everyone to cultivate their skill sets. That's one. Second key thing, I would definitely ask you to consider learning about finance formally, because if you genuinely understand what is debt, what is the difference between good debt and bad debt, how to invest in stock markets, how to make investments in real estate, if you understand all these points, you can make better use of your money. and that allows you to create more time. And the more skill set and time and money that you have, then you can play along the game of creating more and more income streams. So that is what I would advise you generally, that number one, please improve your skill sets, and number two, please learn about investing. These two things are critical irrespective of whichever profession you are in. So third question comes from Rahul, and Rahul says that just wanted to ask you that there are a couple of options when it comes to long-term investing, but for short term, what options are there? Because debt liquid funds aren't attractive enough to beat inflation. P2P lending is murky. FD isn't a solution. So what else is there? Okay, so here is my viewpoint on short-term investing or investing in general. Basically, the goal of investing is not to optimize returns. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, if you are building a portfolio of 1 lakh rupee, then it's not as if that you are investing that 1 lakh rupee to generate the maximum possible return from it. Yes, if it happens, nothing like it. But the goal of your investment portfolio of 1 lakh rupee is to create a little bit of defense, to create a little bit of growth, to create a little bit of balance. So you need to pick these type of assets. So from that perspective, I do not think that liquid debt funds are bad or FD is outright bad. Nothing of that sort. It really depends on how you are designing your portfolio. At every stage of your investment, your portfolio should be balanced. So please understand what a balanced portfolio is, and automatically you will get your answer. Now, a broader macro viewpoint here is whether you're looking at liquid debt fund, whether you're looking at fixed deposits, you should just take a little bit of positions in these instruments just from a defense point of view. So don't worry too much about return, because this part of your portfolio, what it does is that it helps you balance out your portfolio. That's what it is doing. So you can purchase some hyper aggressive assets also. And on the flip side, just to balance or counterbalance it, have some positions in fixed deposit or liquid debt fund. But yes, when you are making these type of investments, liquid debt funds, fixed deposits, you're not running after crazy returns. You are doing it from a hedging perspective per se. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an answer. Let's move on to the next question. So question number 4 comes from Charan. He says that I notice you emphasize a lot on macroeconomics. Can you recommend me some books or courses regarding that? Okay, so I would recommend you my course. I teach a lot of macroeconomics there and relate it to stock market and investing. So that is the USP of my course. And students tell me that they especially enjoy this part of the course. But yes, if you want to learn about macroeconomics on your own, then it is just not about learning theoretical concepts. You need to relate it to the stock market and figure out a way to make money out of it. What I am especially seeing is that people aggregate a lot of information, that they will read like 500 macroeconomic books and follow every single event, but they don't know how to relate it to stock markets and make money from it. But yes, if you just want to kickstart your journey of learning macroeconomics, then there's a very good book called as Mankiv. You can start with that, Mankiw. I think that is the spelling of the book. In case my spelling is incorrect, I will put it down in the description box. So that is a good starting book that will help you understand some fundamental points about macroeconomics. Please also watch my videos, because whatever videos I make, especially around macro viewpoint, I'm relating it to the market. So that is the exercise that you should be undertaking. I don't think that any book is doing it. In case you know some book, do comment below. But yes, if you just generally want to understand macroeconomics, you can start with Mankiv. That's a good book. That is where I also started my macro journey. And also follow Ray Dalio. So he gives excellent commentary on macroeconomics. So you can follow him on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. And you will get to learn a lot through his posts. So next question comes from Sunik, and he says that, hey, which trade ended up in a loss for you and why did you book that loss? How many hours of research goes into buying a stock, and how do you deal with trolls and competitors? Okay, so point 1, have I taken loss in the stock markets? Yes, multiple times. And I keep on saying that, hey, if you are betting on 10 stocks, then 4 bets will go wrong. Even if you're a brilliant investor, then 4 bets will go wrong. And if you're an average investor, then 5 or 6 bets will go wrong. And there is nothing off about that. That is how stock market is supposed to work. What is wrong is that people do not build a balanced portfolio. They will end up taking too much position in one stock or too little position in other stocks. So balancing is a problem. That problem I have not had. So just to give you a recent example, and I had made a video also on that I booked some losses on metal stock. For example, I sold my steel holdings on some of the PSU steel based companies like Nalco. Why did I do that? Because the government had changed policies, etc. And I came out and I categorically said that, you know what, that I made a mistake in terms of investing in a steel sector. Yes, now it might very well happen that the steel stocks start giving a run up and bunch of other positive things will happen. But whatever loss that I booked, I got some principal amount on it and I invested in good growth stocks and they have already started to give a run up. So I do not get married to the stocks that I'm purchasing. Whenever I feel that the bet has gone wrong, I do not see long-term prospects in that company, or I find that there are better opportunities where I can just simply book losses now and whatever money I get, I can reinvest that into better opportunities. I would do that by booking some losses. Now, just to help you understand the philosophy of when you should be booking a loss? So my philosophy is, number one, if you do not have faith left on that business, you should sell it by booking some losses. No problem there. Number two, if you find better opportunities, then you should book your losses and invest that money into better opportunities. Third and finally, you do profit booking or loss booking just to rejig your portfolio. What is meant by that? So let's say that my entire portfolio consists of 50% of ITC stocks. Now I clearly have overexposure to ITC. What should I be doing? I should be booking some loss in case I do not see long-term prospects in it. Book some loss and balance my portfolio as soon as possible. So this is called as rebalancing your portfolio. So second and third point, that how much research goes into analyzing a stock, it really depends. Usually I do not do that research in one shot. I would usually spend a couple of weeks researching a stock before I come out with a video along that. So how do you deal with trolls and competitors? I think if you are on social media, you will get trolled, whether you are doing good work, bad work, any type of work. So trolling is a part of social media narrative. You will get trolled if you're on social media. So please develop a thick skin if you want to be on the social media. So that is how the world is. The way I deal with trolls, it's very simple. I adopt a 90-10 principle. So I pretty much understand that, hey, any video that I'm putting out, 10% comments will be negative. But luckily, so far, I get like 98-99% love from people. There will be 1% trollers. So I do not focus on trolls. So I focus on people who are benefiting from my work, and I try to take positive energy from them. How do I deal with competitors? So I don't think that I worry too much about competition. If other people are growing on social media, what my reach is, how many views I'm getting. No, I do not do that stuff at all. My goal is to just keep on creating better and better content, and whatever improvements I can bring through my own work, I try to do that. So I do not think about competition, because honestly, on social media, you have to be unique. People follow a lot of creators for very different reasons. They have their own strengths and weaknesses, and they are unique in their own way, and I am unique in my own way. So I do not worry too much about competition. Okay, so the next set of questions come from Stigma. I'll pick two very interesting questions here. So one is about how much your life partner has role in achieving the goal in financial journey. So I would say that picking the right life partner, or if you're lucky in terms of getting a good life partner, that literally makes or break your life. In my case, I have been extremely lucky. So in fact, just to tell you about my story, that I met my wife, or my future wife, when I was 22 years old. She and I were volunteering with a non-profit organization, and then we started dating, etc., etc. Both of us are nerds, so to say. So we love to talk about macroeconomics. We study different things, whatnot. So yes, the frequency matches there. Frequency mismatch is also there many a times. But yes, the core values are somewhat similar. For example, both of us are extremely frugal. We do think about spending our money, where it is going, etc., etc., irrespective of how much money we are making. So we have been brought into the middle class, and we really respect those type of values. And those are the type of values that we want to pass on to our son as well. So yeah, I'm digressing a little bit, but marriage is definitely a very important aspect. If you and your life partner do not see eye to eye when it comes to finances, it can be really jarring for both the parties involved. So yeah, I do not have some great suggestion there. I just feel that you need to be a little bit lucky. That's how you get a good life partner. So the next question was around, for increasing earning potential, what are possible ways we can do in shorter time span? Example, working in foreign countries, example, Dubai, Singapore. Yes. If you're working abroad, for example, I had worked abroad, and you end up earning a lot more, you end up saving a lot more. This is what data tells us. How to get there? I would still say that doing a foreign education is the best possible route of going there. You might have a counter question that, you know what, I would not get scholarships, etc., etc. No, if you work hard, get good marks, good scores on your GMAT, GRE, you should be able to get scholarships, and you should be able to study abroad. You can 100% study abroad without spending a lot of money. You just need to figure out a way how. So the next question comes from God is with me. So what should I prioritize between spending time in learning about stock investing and analyzing versus spending time in upskilling myself? So it really depends on your age. If you're on the younger side, and if there is only one thing that you can pick, upskill. Do not enter into the stock market. If you have time and you can do both, then try to do both. But subsequently, when you're 35, 40, you definitely should learn about investing. If you're not learning about investing, you are losing a lot of money. There will be wealth deterioration irrespective of how much money you are making. Next question comes from Ishan. Just one life-changing stock according to you? I don't think there is any such thing as a life-changing stock. Whatever business you are buying, you have to study it. You have to study it over and over again and continue to monitor it. There is no such thing as buy and forget. Even the best of the businesses fall down. A classic case in point is Kodak, right, which was a photography based company, which had almost 80-90% share of the market, and it went to dust. So these type of business changes keep on happening. So you need to monitor stocks. There is no such thing as buy and forget. And I keep talking about that quite extensively on several of my videos. So next question comes from Shubham. How long do you plan to continue with YouTube journey? So I don't know, till the point I'm having fun. So if I'm enjoying shooting videos, I'll continue to do it. And one day I might suddenly stop if I'm not having fun. So for me, it is about having fun, adding value. If people are benefiting, I will continue to make it. If people are not benefiting, I will stop making it. Now comes the last question, which comes from Pratyush. How much money is enough? Okay, so this is a very interesting question. Well, there is a philosophical answer that, don't worry about money, just control your wants, needs, all that stuff. Okay, so that's one part of the way. I can't comment on that. Second part would be financial part, math driven part. So I can talk about some key things. I would say personally that if there is a mathematical formula that you are running after, then the mathematical formula would be that if you are making, let's say, 1 lakh rupees a month, and you are able to survive on 10,000 rupees a month, and if you continue to do that for 10 years, you can theoretically retire because you will have all the money in the world that you need as per your expenses, provided you're not expanding upon your lifestyle. So that's the math part of it. But what I would practically say is that try to save maybe 40% of your salary and invest it, and try to do it for as long as you can, and then slowly wind down your effort in terms of work. So I feel that that is a more sensible equation after which we should run. I hope you enjoyed this informal conversation. If you did, press the like button, and I will see you soon on the next video.